Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 824 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. Number of victims of the Russian strike against a DIY hypermarket epicenter in Kharkiv rose to 18 people, including 2 children. Rescue works are still ongoing, reports Rubrika. According to the local authorities, at least 48 people were wounded, 5 people are still missing. The administration of Epicenter announced that they will pay 1 million hryvnia, which is approximately $24.8 thousand US, to the families of all those killed in the Russian strike, reports Interfax Ukraine. The administration will also financially support the miners who have been orphaned due to the attack. On 25th of May, in the middle of the day, Russian forces attacked Kharkiv's store epicenter. The building was destroyed before all people could get out. It took firefighters 16 hours to put out the fire. Yesterday, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky visited Spain. There, the Ukrainian leader and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez signed a security agreement between the two countries, reports Radio Liberty. Sanchez informed that for this year, Madrid envisaged over 1 billion euros military aid for Ukraine. For the period until 2027, 5 billion through the European Peace Fund. The Spanish Prime Minister said that part of the military aid is air defense to protect civilians, infrastructure, cities that continue to suffer from attacks, as happened this weekend in Kharkiv, reports Militarny. In addition, he announced the transfer of Leopard 2 tanks and unnamed samples of artillery. Earlier, the El País newspaper, citing its own sources, published the detail of the 1.13 billion tranche, which was to be announced during the meeting of the two politicians in Madrid. According to the publication, the new package will include the delivery of a batch of Patriot anti-aircraft missiles, which will be added to the half-dozen already transferred in April. In total, the country will provide dozens of missiles, each of which costs about 2 million euros. Also, 19 Leopard 2 A4 tanks will be delivered in addition to the 10 vehicles that were already delivered to the Ukrainian army last year. The first 10 tanks from the new batch are already undergoing overhaul after returning from storage bases and are due to leave for Ukraine by June 30th, along with anti-aircraft missiles and a large amount of ammunition. However, the basis of this year's package of military aid from Spain will be new products: artillery shells, anti-drone systems, tactical vehicles, optical electronic equipment for surveillance and reconnaissance, remote combat modules, mortars, infantry weapons, and other equipment. Most of the ordered systems and weapons are produced by Spanish companies. In addition, Spain will also expand the combat training program of the Ukrainian military by another 400 people. While in Spain, President Volodymyr Zelensky informed that Russian forces use over 3,000 guided aerial bombs every month in their attacks on Ukraine, which lacks sufficient air defense systems to protect itself from them, reports Ukrainska Pravda. According to him, in May, this number will reach 3,200 bombs, next 3,500. The head of state stressed that Ukraine's immediate need is for at least 7 additional Patriot air defense systems, 2 of which need to be deployed for the protection of Kharkiv alone. This would prevent Russian aircraft from flying close enough to launch attacks. However, Ukraine needs dozens of such air defense systems to cover its skies completely, he added. Zelensky says it is necessary to put pressure on Ukraine's Western partners in order to receive this quantity of weapons from them. Meanwhile, according to open data analysis expert Yulian Ryobke, Iran supplied Russia with the latest aerial bombs for attacks on Ukraine. A heavy Iranian Quds Mohajer 6 drone crashed in the Kursk region the day before. It carried the latest Iranian guided air bombs Qaim-5. In Iran itself, they were put into service only in 2019. Apparently, the drone was supposed to attack the Sumy region, but for an unknown reason, it fell. Previously, the Russian armed forces did not use high-precision Qaim-5 in Ukraine. According to Ryobke, their use indicates a new level of military cooperation between Tehran and Moscow. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, and leave a glowing review in the app where you are listening to this podcast: Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and others. This really helps more people to find out about the highlights from Ukraine and truth about Russia's invasion. On May 26, a drone of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine attacked the Voronezh M long-range target detection radar station in the Russian city of Orsk, reports Radio Liberty. The station is 1,800 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. According to the media source, this strike set a new record for the range of damage. The Voronezh M radar system is a component of Russian nuclear security system and is designed to detect space and aerodynamic objects, including ballistic and cruise missiles. Voronezh M is able to detect targets at a distance of up to 6,000 kilometers and control up to 500 objects at the same time. On May 27th, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced the alleged destruction and interception of 12 unmanned aerial vehicles over a number of regions. Among them, the Orenburg region was not indicated. In early May, a Ukrainian drone struck an oil refinery in Russian Bashkortostan. As an informed source told Radio Svoboda at the time, it was a security service drone that set a previous historical record by covering a distance of 1,500 kilometers. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people, and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.